going on YouTube? This is the Common Sense Professor here, and today I'm going to answer a question that I get so often from my students and graduates, and that's how to find your first job or internship. This is so hard sometimes because when you do a job search, a lot of times companies want someone with 2 to 3 years experience or more. And so we're going to look at 4 of the main job search engines, and I'm going to step through here to show you some suggestions for finding your first job or internship. I'm going to start with my least favorite of the job search engines, and that's monster.com. Now, if you know of some other ways to search for jobs on monster.com, leave them in the comments below. And also, I will list all of the links to these job search engines in my description below my video. I'm just using an example of an automation engineer in St. Louis, Missouri for all these examples, okay? And so monster.com is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. If you go to their homepage and do a job search for automation engineer and set your location, we're going to say St. Louis, and just hit search, it's going to bring up a list of, I found 110 jobs in the area. But when you look through here, you'll notice a lot of these jobs, it's kind of broad. Here's an example. This is a position for an automation engineer. It does show you the salary. I do like the way it's laid out because it shows you how long it's been available and the salary. And so just click on this for an example. This will give you a little bit of, okay, so their job details. They're wanting a degree in electrical engineering or technical background equivalent to a bachelor's degree. So they're pretty open, preferred 2 to 4 years experience. Now, here's the thing about this, is they're looking for somebody with a lot of technical abilities in automation engineering. So they want somebody with PLC logic and HMI logic for Rockwell Automation, Siemens, and also Ignition. They're going to be more open. Notice this is preferred and not required. That's important. I would apply for this job if I was a graduate of an automation engineering program. I wouldn't think twice about applying for this, especially if I had these capabilities to do these programming. Now, if you're looking for an internship, it's a little more difficult with Monster, because if you're looking for an internship, it says they have 5 jobs, but it only shows 2. So that's kind of weird. And let's just click this first one here, commissioning and testing engineer, BS degree, salary 60 to 65. This is not an internship, right? The good news is this is entry level. So if you're a graduate, you can apply for this job, but it's not an internship. And I specifically typed in internship up there. This is the reason I don't really like monster.com. Okay, again, it's good for just general job searches, but it's hard to narrow that down. And please, if you know more secrets about how to navigate through monster.com, please leave them in the comments below. Let's get into Google's job search engine. But honestly, there's not a whole lot of difference between Google, LinkedIn, and Indeed, the other 3 that we're going to be looking at as far as their search capabilities. So I'm searching automation engineer in St. Louis. It's not quite as visually friendly as monster.com is because it doesn't tell you descriptions, but it does give you the title of the position, where it is, and then how long ago it's been posted, and the salary. But here's the good thing about the Google job search engine is you can go up here and under requirements, you can actually select no experience. What Google is doing is Google is pulling from all these different sites, and so that's the reason it's not quite as visually appealing. So that's the way that Google works. Google just basically, it works like the Google search, where it's just pulling from all these sites from the internet into one. And so even though you can go in and select different experiences and things, it's still not my favorite. It's just not quite as user-friendly. This leads us to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great, and so let me show you real quick. All right, so again, I typed in automation engineer from St. Louis, Missouri. You have the, just like you do Google, you can come in here and do entry level. And so if you're a graduate, you can come in here and select entry level, and it brings up application engineer from Bachelor of Science degree in engineering, chemical, electrical, mechanical, or computer preferred, and 1 year of relevant experience, or a master's degree. And so that's probably why they're getting away with the entry level here. Automation engineer at DICE, entry level position. Okay, so here's an automation controls engineer in St. Louis. So I guess they either want 6 to 10 years or a bachelor's degree. Now, let me also say, a lot of times companies will put in here that they want a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. My program, for instance, I teach an electrical mechanical engineering technology program, which is geared directly towards automation engineering. And my students do all of this. Just because it says electrical engineering, I would still apply for this. And at the very top, I would put my resume, I would put my skills, and my skills would match what they're saying here. And that's one of the biggest mistakes when you apply for jobs, is having a general resume that you don't change. Okay, your resume needs to be dynamic, means it needs to change with the job that you're applying for. And I would, again, if I had a bachelor's degree but not directly in electrical engineering, I would apply for this job, and right up front of every skill I had in this list right here, definitely. Okay, so that's LinkedIn. Now, the good thing about LinkedIn is you can do a job alert. I highly encourage you to create a LinkedIn account. I generally have all my students to do that, because personally, I'm constantly getting job updates on LinkedIn. And a lot of companies will go on here and maybe not go through their job search, because this actually costs money, but they'll actually advertise on LinkedIn. It's just a great place to network. So I highly encourage LinkedIn. But as far as just the job search, my favorite is Indeed. So Indeed.com is by far my favorite of all of them, because here's the thing about Indeed.com. Indeed.com is kind of the best of all of this job search engines. So it has the visual appeal of Monster.com, but it has all these different ways to search with experience levels and everything else, like LinkedIn and Google. So let's do a quick search real quick for entry-level positions in automation engineering. Now, you notice if you don't have a lot of jobs, it's searching within 25 miles of St. Louis. So obviously you can expand that. So let's pull this up. Our first one here, applications engineer at DT Engineering. Let's see what they have. Minimum of 1 year experience in industrial automation industry or estimating large scale. Bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, controls engineering preferred. So that's interesting. So that still has 1 year experience there over. So here's a fluid power engineer. Degree in engineering, so it's pretty open. Mechanical preferred. Working knowledge of design AutoCAD, 1+ years technical design knowledge of fluid power, primarily hydraulics, ability to read. So it can be questionable. Now, these jobs that have 1 year, require 1 year experience, that's the reason that you want to do internships while you're in college. And I always encourage students to do at least a couple of internships, because again, if you've done 2 internships before you graduate in your field, well, you fulfill that 1 year experience. All right, so let's go into searching for internships. And all I did was type in automation engineer intern up here. And I expanded this to 100 miles just because a lot of times an intern, you're going to expand that. And so this brings up some jobs in the area for interns, application engineer intern, controls engineer co-op. Sometimes these are called co-ops. That just gives you an idea. If I maybe to be more general as an engineering intern, you have to search through these a little bit, but there's a systems engineer intern. And so you have to kind of search through here a little more general. Here's just a general engineering intern. And that's the reason we do this search, because some companies just have engineering interns. For an example, application engineering intern, it wasn't picked up at first. And so again, with the interns, you might want to do a little more broad. You have to do a little more searching. But look at all these engineering interns that brought up whenever I did that. Okay, so I hope this video has helped you. Again, if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments below. I have answered several questions for people who have had questions about college or jobs or something like that. All right, have a great day.